All right, so we got Nick Willis. You just watched training partner Mason Ferlic make the Olympics. How are you feeling right now?
That was the most nerve-wracking experience of my life. Normally when you're in a race, the gun goes off and the nerves go away, right? It's terrifying before the gun, but in this time, the gun went off and it stayed nerve-wracking all the way into the last 30 meters. But what an incredible run by Mason. I don't think it was his best physical performance today, but he really gutsed it out, and his technical ability over the hurdles saved him in the final couple of water jumps.
Well, yeah, that was the one. It was him and Updike, right, in the final water jump. I mean, were you thinking at that time, you're like, oh man, I'm worried for him? You think he's going to make it?
He looked good, 200 to go, his momentum going past Updike, but I worried about Dan Michalski.
Yeah.
But Mason was able to have a really good, because that last water jump, it's not just how good you are on the water jump. When you're tired, it affects your momentum you carry out of it, and that really ended up keeping Mason going, and he was good enough to the end.
Yeah.
He was nervous though. I did this warm-up with him, and he's normally a pretty cocky kid, and this time he definitely was leaning on me to like get him through the warm-up jog. Normally I'm trying to hang on to him. It's not often Mason lets me in front of him on a run, so I could tell he was nervous.
What did you tell him before the race? What did you guys talk about?
I said, look, dude, you're going to be top 3 no matter what. So run a smart race to get top 3, and if you feel good, put yourself on a chance to win it. I think with 500 to go, the fact that he didn't go to the front told me he was tired and he had to utilize what energy resources he had left to make sure he got top 3, and it left it close. But then when you watched him for 10 minutes after the race, he was shattered. So the heat obviously got to him, but he still grinded it out, and I was really, really excited for him. And his family was all there. It was pretty cool to celebrate.
Yeah, where were you watching from?
Like 70 meters to go down the straight. His family was down there, and his girlfriend Catherine, who's part of our very nice truck club family, comes down to all of the workouts. And I was there with Matt Taylor, founder of Tracksmith, and it was a fun time for us to celebrate as well, having Mason. I think Nike didn't even get on the podium, so that was sort of a fun experience for us.
Well, and they signed Michalski and Updike within like the last week, and yeah, they're very close.
No, it's cool to. We've had a couple of throwers and now a couple of steeplechasers, so it's a good balance performance by a lot of the Tracksmith athletes. But today was all about Mason, and I wonder if he saw Hobbs' race. I hope he didn't, because that might have made him lose a bit of confidence. But he managed to get through.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask about that because it looked, I mean, you're the 1500 expert, but it looked like, Hobbs, he went straight to the back and he kind of just stayed there, and then a lap to go. I know I started thinking, man, the pace is slow, and those are a lot of guys to pass. I mean, what did you make of his run today? Yeah,
I don't think it was a tactical issue. Maybe when he tried to move up after 500, he sort of moved up and then he didn't move fully up, and so you end up getting spat back out again, which happened, and that might have I haven't talked to him, so I have no idea. But maybe that affected his confidence, maybe next time I move up, I'm just going to get spat out again as well.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know what he was thinking. But had he been in his best shape, I think he would have been able to still cover that distance. I've done that many times before on the last lap. I actually thought they must be going too fast in the penultimate 200, so they'll come back the last 100. But I think if you look at how he finished, it wasn't his day, and that's okay. He's a kid, and Ronnie and I were telling him, look, no matter what happens today, it's a victory, because it's all about gaining experience for the future. It's not about these Olympics, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Deep down, we probably thought it was best if he didn't qualify anyway. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but he's had a long year, and it's a good way to use this as motivation and fuel for the fire. But he's got 2 or 3 years of having fun with the sport before he starts taking it ultimately seriously. I know he's a pro, but everyone needs to understand, he's a pro, but he's got to also learn to be a young adult and figure out who he is and have fun at college for a couple of years, and then in 2 years' time, let's really knuckle down and get him a chance to get a medal in Paris or LA in 7 years' time. Yeah,
well, it seemed like between turning pro and coming into this meet, there's just a lot to deal with. And he said, he's got a good support system. He's got you and Ron to lean on. He's got Mark Wetmore now as agent. But did you notice that this had kind of strained on him, the decision to turn pro or not and come into this meet? Yeah,
I've actually been away from the country and racing. I was doing a road trip around the south, chasing qualifying points, and then I went over to Europe for 10 days. So I haven't actually seen Hobbs until I got to Eugene.
Okay.
But I've been talking to his dad a little bit on the phone, and Ronnie's kept me in the loop. I'm sure it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. It probably reminds me of when I was named a flag bearer for the London Olympics, and it's exciting, that you're not able to completely calm down, and your sleep is a little hindered. You don't get that sort of deep REM sleep that you normally like, and they probably caught up to him. You can get one good race out of it, but maybe multiple races it catches up to you.
All right, last thing, and then I'll let you go celebrate with Mason and family and everything. But your position going into the Olympics, like I know you've been chasing these qualifying points to be in position, and I think you've now fallen. Have you fallen out of the top, the world rankings positions to go? Like, what is your status right now?
The current list says I think that I'm 48th, and they take the top 45, but they haven't included the points from the Nashville meet yet, which is still like they're trying to rush the status of it. So that would jump me up to 46th. Plus the Russian doesn't count, so I'll be 45th. So I would be in the quota. So it's really like counting up. Basically, I tell everyone it's 50-50. It's a matter of how many scratches and how many universality athletes they add. But there's a number of runners who haven't really raced in the last 18 months who may not even show up. Ben Blankenship showed up here, so maybe they will. But I'm hearing things like maybe McLoofie's not going to bother coming. Suleiman hasn't shown his face for a couple of years, so who knows if those guys are even going to enter. So it's a waiting game. Look, it'd be awesome if I go to my 5th games, but I've been to 4, and I can hold my head high that I haven't given up in my quest to try and qualify, and that ultimately is the main victory. And honestly, like from this point on, I'm so excited to just be Mason and Hobbs' rabbits. I did their warm-ups with them at this meet, and I'll continue to do that for the next however many years that my legs will let me. That's sort of I'm the glorified pacemaker of the Very Nice Track Club now, and that'll keep me in the sport for a while.
Oh, that's great. Well, yeah, thanks for taking the time, Nick, and go ahead.